Hello and welcome back to Step-by-Step Guitar Tuition.com. This is the fourth lesson in the Step 2 module, and in this lesson we'll be looking at some basic chord sequences using the chords that we looked at in Step 2 Lesson 1, G major and C major. In addition, we'll combine them with the chords that we looked at in Step 1 Lesson 1, A, D and E. Hopefully you'll be reasonably familiar with the 5 major chord shapes by now, but if you feel that you haven't yet mastered them, then I would recommend going back and having a recap, as this lesson will involve some quick chord changes. In this lesson we're going to play 5 different chord sequences. You can find all 5 sequences in the notes that accompany this lesson. Your aim is to be able to change chords quickly and stay in time with the backing tracks. The tempo of the backing tracks is 100 beats per minute, and you can find longer versions of them to play along with on the Step-by-Step website. Okay, let's begin with the first chord sequence. We're going to play 2 measures of G major and 2 measures of C major. So if you get ready on the G chord, and we'll begin. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. C. Back to G. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. Now let's try the second sequence. 1 measure of G major, 1 measure of C major, 1 measure of G, 1 measure of C, and the whole thing's repeated. So if you get your fingers ready on the G chord, and after 4, here we go. 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3, 4. G. 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3, and again. G. 2, 3, 4. C, G, C, and N. In the third sequence we're going to introduce the D chord that we did in Step 1. So we're going to go 1 measure of G, 1 of C, 1 of D, 1 of C, and the whole thing repeated. So if you get ready on the G chord, and after 4, 2, 3, 4, G, C, D, C, and again G, C, D, C, and end on the G. In the fourth sequence we're going to include the A chord that we did in Step 1. So it's going to go 1 measure of D, 1 measure of A, 1 measure of G, and 1 measure of A. So this time we're starting on the D chord. Okay, after 4, here we go. 2, 3, 4, D, A, G, A, D, on the D. And finally, for the fifth sequence, we're going to include the E chord that we did in Step 1. We're going to play 1 measure of E, 1 measure of G, and 2 measures of A. So this time, if you start on the E chord, and again after 4, 2, 3, 4, E, G, A, and another bar of A, E, G, and A, another bar of A, and end on E. Okay, so that's all 5 chord sequences. Hopefully now you're going to hear how good those 5 major chords can sound when they're played together in different sequences. Remember, you can find longer examples of those backing tracks to practice to on the Step-by-Step website. Just see your lesson notes for details. So that's it for this lesson. In lesson 5 we'll take a look at some basic improvising ideas using major and minor pentatonic scales. So I'll see you then.